EastEnders unravels George Knight's Christmas secret. Elaine's world shattered by betrayal, lies, and heartbreak. The drama in EastEnders has once again reached a boiling point as the long-buried Christmas Day secret of George Knight finally explodes, threatening to unravel his marriage to Elaine Peacock and destroy the fragile unity of the Knight family. This week's emotionally charged episodes, now available on BBC iPlayer, reveal not only George's duplicity but also reignite old flames, test loyalties, and push Elaine to her emotional breaking point. What was supposed to be a festive season of joy and family bonding now looms large as a bitter memory, especially for Elaine, who is left questioning her husband's honesty, her stepchildren's loyalty, and the future of her once happy marriage. A quiet reconciliation shattered by a loud truth. Tension had already been brewing in the Queen Vic for some time. George's recent betrayal, secretly helping his ex-wife Cindy Beale relaunch the Albert nightclub, had caused a serious rift in his relationship with Elaine. Despite his attempts to justify the secrecy as an act of compassion or business, Elaine felt blindsided and emotionally betrayed. Her anger was justified. How could her husband, someone she trusted completely, make such a significant move with his ex without even mentioning it? In a bid to mend fences, both George and Elaine took steps toward reconciliation in the most recent episode. Apologies were exchanged. George admitted fault for going behind her back, and Elaine softened her stance, acknowledging that her reaction might have been too fierce. It was a fragile but sincere moment of healing. To cement their truce, Elaine decided to surprise George with a heartfelt gesture. She gathered the family and presented him with a special gift that celebrated his accomplishments at the boxing club, a symbolic tribute to his hard work and community spirit. It was an attempt to reset their relationship, to remind themselves and their loved ones that, at the end of the day, love and family still mattered. But before the moment could blossom into something healing, disaster struck. Junior's bombshell, the lie behind the blood-stained shirt. The joyous occasion came crashing down when George's son, Junior, unexpectedly returned from Dubai and interrupted the family gathering with a devastating revelation. Having recently visited his mother Sabrina, Junior exposed a Christmas night secret that George had gone to great lengths to hide. Contrary to what George had told Elaine, that he was attending a boxing match on Christmas Day, he had, in fact, spent the evening with Sabrina. And it wasn't just an innocent catch-up. During that visit, Sabrina had kissed George. The Knights were stunned into silence. George attempted to explain, insisting that the visit was purely about discussing Junior and that Sabrina's kiss had taken him by surprise. He claimed to have pulled away immediately, an act of loyalty, perhaps, but one that was quickly overshadowed by what came next. Sabrina had slapped him. That slap was the source of the mysterious bloodstain on George's shirt, which had long been a point of speculation. Elaine's heart sank as the truth unfolded. George hadn't just lied about where he was. He had involved Gina and Kojo, his own children, in the deception. The betrayal wasn't just romantic. It was familial. It was systemic. The collapse of trust. Elaine's response was swift and gut-wrenching. Emotionally wounded and exhausted by George's continual evasions and lies, she asked him to leave the house. It wasn't just the kiss or the meeting with Sabrina that shattered her trust. It was the years of building what she thought was a solid, mature relationship, only to find it riddled with dishonesty and manipulation. The betrayal by Kojo and Gina, who had helped their father keep the secret, made things worse. Elaine, who had embraced them as her own, now found herself questioning whether she had ever truly been part of the family she helped nurture. She turned to her children, Linda and Johnny, for advice. Predictably, they offered contrasting perspectives. Linda, ever fiery and passionate, advised her mother to confront the issue head-on, demanding truth and accountability. Johnny, more measured and diplomatic, encouraged forgiveness and understanding. But Elaine listened to neither. Instead, she chose to retreat into distraction, pouring her energy into helping prepare for Kat and Alfie's upcoming wedding. The wedding might have offered a temporary reprieve, but the heartbreak lingered in her eyes. Cindy Beale. Friend, foe, or something more? As Elaine wrestled with her emotions, George found an unexpected shoulder to lean on, Cindy Beale. The same Cindy who had recently reopened the Albert with George's help. The same Cindy who once shared a turbulent marriage and family with him. Cindy noticed George's distress and offered her support. The two retreated upstairs at the Albert for privacy, where they engaged in a candid and heartfelt conversation about their shared past, their children, and the complications that never seemed to fade. It was an emotionally charged encounter. Not romantic, at least, not overtly, but undeniably intimate. Two people bound by history and mutual understanding, navigating the complex terrain of regret and unresolved feelings. Meanwhile, back at the Vic, Linda gave her mother a reality check. Stop running from the truth. If Elaine wanted closure, or a new beginning, she had to face George, ask the difficult questions, and decide what she truly wanted. The final blow. Elaine sees what she wasn't meant to see. Spurred by Linda's words, Elaine ventured out to find her husband and demand the answers she deserved. She didn't expect what she found: George and Cindy, embracing on the balcony of the Albert. To an outsider, it may have been an innocent, platonic hug. But to Elaine, already wounded, already unsure, it was the final straw. A symbol of yet another betrayal. The image of her husband in the arms of his ex-wife was more than she could bear. Her world, already wobbling, finally collapsed. George Knight. Flawed but human. It's easy to vilify George in this storyline. His pattern of secrecy, poor decisions, and half-truths make him a deeply flawed husband. But he's also written with nuance. His intentions, though misguided, were rarely malicious. He didn't cheat, at least not in the traditional sense. He lied to protect others, to avoid pain, to keep things simple. But in doing so, he created a web so tangled that even the truth couldn't set him free. George's character arc in this chapter of EastEnders is a lesson in what happens when communication fails, when pride overrides vulnerability, and when fear of confrontation leads to even greater conflict. The pillar begins to crack. Elaine has long been the rock of the Queen Vic, the matriarch, the voice of reason, the symbol of strength. But even the strongest have their limits. And in this storyline, we see Elaine tested like never before. Her heartbreak isn't just about George's kiss with Sabrina. It's about betrayal from within, the kind that chips away at your self-worth. She feels deceived by her husband, her stepchildren, and the universe that promised love could be simple the second time around. Yet, she remains resilient. She hasn't lashed out or collapsed. She's thinking, feeling, weighing her options. The next move is hers to make. What comes next? Will Elaine forgive George? That's the question now echoing across Walford. Can Elaine find it in her heart to forgive George? Can George regain her trust? And what of Cindy? Is she a safe harbor for George or a looming threat to Elaine's already fragile world? EastEnders has laid the groundwork for an emotional storm that could take several directions. Will Elaine take a stand and end the marriage? Will George try to win her back? Or will unresolved feelings between George and Cindy further complicate the picture? There are no easy answers. Why this storyline resonates. The brilliance of this arc lies in its emotional authenticity. Infidelity, even when it's emotional or platonic, is rarely black and white. Lies are often told with good intentions. And love, once damaged, is not always irreparable, but it's never easy to fix. Audiences relate to Elaine's pain, George's confusion, and the delicate dance of forgiveness and pride. It's drama, yes, but it's also real. Final thoughts. A family at a crossroads. As the dust settles on George Knight's Christmas Day deception, the Knight family finds itself at a dangerous crossroads. Trust has been broken, old wounds have been reopened, and new questions linger in the air. Will Elaine reclaim her strength and walk away from a marriage built on shaky ground? Or will she find it in her heart to give George one more chance? One thing is certain. EastEnders continues to deliver compelling, character-driven drama that holds a mirror to real-life struggles. The lies we tell, the hearts we break, and the hope that maybe, just maybe, we can still find our way back to one another. Stay tuned, because Walford isn't done with George and Elaine just yet.